Hello and welcome to another episode of John's Non Sequitur. We're going to whip this one out real fast because I don't have a lot of time. I wrote down some ideas today. Do you want to see my notes? That's my notes. That's how much effort I put into this show. The things we're going to talk about today are the fun in food, feeling tricked, and death. Now, the fun in food is a really easy one. It's any advertisement you've ever seen. Try to put it on mute, try to guess what it is they're selling, and I bet you get it right about 40% of the time. There's two things that's really evident with. Pharmaceutical medicine that you didn't know you need, where they're running through fields and you're like, are they running from depression? Are they running because their penises don't work? Are they running because something else is running out their ass? Why are they running? Who knows? But what's really funny is, in fast food commercials, people are doing cartwheels and handstands and magic tricks and pulling rabbits out of hats and skateboarding everywhere. And then they get the McRib, and then it just cuts to McDonald's because we know they're not doing any more magic tricks or cartwheels after they eat McDonald's. There is no fun to be had when you're eating fast food. There's fun to be had until the fast food gets there, and then the fun's over. Believe me. Next up. Feeling tricked. What does this mean? Well, I watched the movie Altered States, and in the movie Altered States, the guy takes a whole bunch of drugs to try and reach back to his primordial self, as far back as the brain can go, because as we know, we're all made up of cells and amino acids and all that stuff that got together to make us, and it came from somewhere else, which came from somewhere else. So somewhere buried in all of this, in our proteins and everything else, is the very first memory of the very first cell that's inside of us, the oldest one. So my thought is, sometimes when you're like meditating or taking time to be in a room by yourself, you start to work your way inwards into your brain. You start to, think about things a little bit deeper. Well, what if you work the whole way in there and there's just some little dude with a Tom Selleck mustache who's like, I tricked you. It's all trick. It could be. I don't know. I mean, if some people think that the universe is a simulation, some people think that a man in the clouds made everybody but kept making a whole bunch of mistakes and covering up for them, why couldn't it just be a big trick? Why couldn't our search for truth be just a trick? It very well could be. And finally, speaking of that, death. I'm sitting next to a guy at a place that I am a lot of my time at. Was that a sentence? And he was like talking to the guy next to him about how he didn't want to just kind of disappear. And I told him, you weren't here for most of the history of mankind. And it wasn't so bad then, so I don't see how it would be so bad now. Is there an afterlife? I don't know. I would guess almost, if it's the way that like most religions make it out to be, I would guess most people don't get to go to the good place. I would guess most people get to go to the bad place. So, not that I would, be happier not knowing, because obviously I wouldn't know that I was happier if I didn't know. But I would certainly take never knowing anything over burning alive any day. The third option being spending eternity, which is a really long time, just sitting around with my thoughts in the clouds. I know it's supposed to be pleasure all the time, but, you've had sex before, so you know that, like, when you have an orgasm, you're like, it's great, and then you're kind of like, it's enough, had enough, please stop it, no more. Now imagine, like, you're in that perpetual state forever. You're like, I can't have any more orgasm, I gotta stop, but you can't, because you're trapped for eternity in orgasm land. You can't stop to go get a sandwich, you can't go take a nap. Constant orgasms for the rest of time and beyond time, because eternity runs beyond time. Congratulations, you've earned it. That'll be all for today.